What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This, of course, is Anthony with the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel. What is going on? It, of course, is 11 a.m. right now here in Sacramento, California. I am getting this live stream started. I'm clicking on my YouTube thing. I got to make sure I pop out chat real quick here. And let's see, where are we here? Okay, about to pop out chat. There we go. So that should be set. All right, folks, so here we are. We have Lance Mick Wilson. Lance is checking in. That seems like a new guy, possibly. You know, I'm going to make the chat a little bit smaller to try to add a little bit more clarity. Still screwing around with chat. Eventually figure this thing out. We have Oggs57 has showed up. T-Dub is there. Will flourish. He will flourish. You know, that's the first time I noticed that. Will flourish. I legitimately thought your name was like, well, I wasn't paying attention is what the deal was. But anyway, guys, it is Thursday. I should probably go ahead and throw on my intro trailer real quick here. Let's go ahead and do that. And here we go. Takes a sec. Where's my trailer thing? Okay. Here we go. Sorry. A little discombobulated right here. Okay, so here we go. VR Game Rankings. Daily Vlog Live, episode 166, Thursday, August 2nd. Yeah, obviously, if you didn't say rabbit, rabbit, rabbit yesterday when you first woke up, too late now. We are on August 2nd. I did 2 shows yesterday. We did an early show, of course. I did a little Magic Leap special. Just, you know, a lot of little news on Magic Leap. I really think a launch is imminent for Magic Leap, so that is going to be interesting. We have Skiva 007. Hi, Anthony. First time making this show live, but I've seen all of your videos. That's awesome. So you don't mind watching them after the fact. I did see somewhere somebody commented that the videos are too long, that they don't mind watching them, but they're too long. The thing about a long video is this is a live stream, so basically we kind of just go with the flow. That's kind of the thought process here. I guess I could be a lot more strict and rigid, but we kind of want to be able to bend and curve and stuff. And it seems like the shows, I will say personally, I think the shows take a little while to get started. I think I kind of have slow starts, which that's probably not the greatest thing. And then I think eventually I settle down and I think chat kind of gets involved and we might find new breaking news stories. We might grab a brand new trailer, throw it in there. It's a little bit janky. It is a little bit janky, but I think it's a decent show. I honestly do. And what we're doing now here is this left side. You can see chat filling up there. Charles Van Nolan is in the house. David Cole, the Jordan Complex. SAMIK81, good evening. So probably in the UK, I would guess. So we're leaning into chat. Chat is the star of the show, really. What I'm here to do is to try to like have topics and stuff, but then play off chat. And that's how it's all going to be. So we do have a couple of news stories today, not anything like super spectacular, but another thing I'll always do too is like chat. Hey, if you guys find a major news story, you can always throw that into chat and, you know, that could be a topic as well. We can always do that. Let's see here. I want to make sure that I'm not cutting. Oh, hey, Noah is in the house. Noah_A_S. For those that don't know, Noah is basically the caretaker. He's the governor, if you will, of the Magic Leap subreddit. If you go into the Magic Leap subreddit, you will see a lot of Noah. Noah, this is pretty much going to be VR today. I don't think I have any real AR stories to get into. I know there is some Magic Leap stuff that is going on a little bit, but no launch. It's August 2nd as far as I can tell. The Magic Leap 1 is not available. Still looking forward to maybe Tuesday. That's a possibility. Terry Blanchard is checking in. Hybrid Energy says, slow news day. Nothing on Road to VR and Upload VR. Guess we can all just talk about our wives and girls and how they annoy us or something. Yeah, we could go down that road, sure. Skiva007 says, you can turn off a long video, but you can't add more time. Will Flourish says, nah, I like the length. Well, you guys are the choir. I'm preaching to the choir when I'm talking to chat because it's all about the chat. And so, you guys like this, but we're going to keep banging away at this thing. I'm not giving up on this show. I'll tell you right now. Basically, my point of view in regards to this live stream is if it gets really boring for me and if I'm not enjoying it, then I'm going to stop it. But until then, why am I going to stop it? Okay, so let's go to, this is not the lead story of the day, and I just grabbed this, but we're early in the show, and I thought, we could take a look at this. This is the Steam hardware survey. So we just got this information. This just came out, and this is a breakdown of VR headsets from February 2017 up until July 2018, and kind of the way it looks here. And you can see number one is Oculus Rift with 46.18% of the headsets that are connected to Steam, which is very impressive, but they've had so many sales. They've had so many deals. I think the Oculus Rift is just at a really good price point. Makes sense that they would be up there like that. And then, of course, HTC Vive is 44.35% of the headsets. And that is Coke and Pepsi right there. That is Coke and Pepsi. And then it goes, we have to wait a long time to get to RC Cola, which RC Cola is Windows Mixed Reality with 6.41%. And I've been wondering, when is Windows Mixed Reality? When are they going to get up to 7-8%? When are they going to hit 10%? They really should. They really should. But, all the sales, you can grab a Windows Mixed Reality headset for hardly anything, especially if you're willing to go refurbish. But you can get a brand new package in the $200-ish range. And if you're willing to go refurbish, you might be able to go even lower than that. Kind of surprised Windows Mixed Reality hasn't lifted up a little bit. The Oculus Rift DK2 is still there. It is still showing up with 1.25%, and then everything else is underneath that. So yeah, saw that. This was on Road to VR. No big shocker here. It's not really a console war. It is not Oculus versus HTC. It's not Oculus versus Steam. Now, Oculus is treating their platform kind of like a console, and I understand that. They invested $2 billion. They want to get their money out of it, so they are trying to make that beachfront property, and they're doing a pretty damn good job with 46.18% on Steam usage. And there's probably some people that get a Rift and use the Oculus store and don't even use Steam. There literally has to be a small amount of those people as well. So anyway, let's go ahead and see what chat is saying. Let's see. Where's PSVR? Yeah, well, obviously PSVR is not on Steam, so these are Steam headsets. This is information that is coming from Steam. This chart is for headsets that are using Steam, and then also I think it depends on when they do their sample of it. If you don't have your headset connected at that time, it might not show up. So these numbers are not flawlessly accurate, but I think they do give us a pretty good general idea, I'd have to say. Let's see. Yeah, Steroid Maximus says, what's up? I never get the notifications. Charles Van Nolan says, Microsoft needs to push their MR headsets harder, make better support, more open, and there be more widespread adoption, especially with the low price. Yeah, it really is crazy. The one thing that I think is holding back those Microsoft mixed reality headsets, I think, is the controllers. I've heard a lot of people say the controllers are just kind of crappy, which that's unfortunate, because if they had better controllers, you could really recommend the Microsoft mixed reality headsets a lot more, knowing that they do have their shortcomings. Hybrid Energy says MS headsets came into a party that's already dominated, and Microsoft was better off releasing an Xbox VR because PSVR needs competition. Well, see, there's a huge difference in Microsoft coming out with this mixed reality platform on the PC and them bringing out a product for Xbox VR. It is apples and oranges. It is a major deal. If they bring out a product on Xbox VR, on Xbox, they cannot half-ass it. They have to go all in, and you're talking about support. You're talking about lining up all these different developers. You're talking about what kind of controllers are you going to have? Is it going to have wires in the living room? It is a major headache, and that's why Microsoft says, look, we think this is going to start out on the PC. It's going to incubate on the PC, and the PC is the best place for it to incubate. And the translation to that is, yeah, the PC, if we do it there, we don't have to invest $2 billion in all this support and everything that they would have to do if it was an Xbox product. So I believe that's why they are skipping out on that. Steroid Maximus, I've missed most of this conversation, but I love my Odyssey, but also have a Rift. That's a pretty damn good combination to have an Odyssey and a Rift, because you get to use the native touch controllers for a lot of the Oculus exclusives. You also got the Odyssey for that higher resolution on general Steam games. Steroid, do those controllers bother you? Because I've always heard Microsoft mixed reality controllers are a bit on the lame side, especially if you have touch to compare them directly to. T-Dub says, anyone find that Steam apps are any different to Oculus Store optimization when used on Rift? Heard they were not quite as optimized, but I haven't noticed. I feel like if something is natively on Oculus, it plays better for me. I truly feel that. Like, I have a native version of Pixel Ripped that runs on the Oculus Store, and it just runs really smoothly. So I think that is a big bonus. Augs57 says, I own a Vive and a Lenovo Explorer, and I use Vive wands on both. Ah, that's interesting. Continues to use the Vive wands even with the Lenovo Explorer. That's interesting about the mix and match factor there. Charles Van Nolan says, once OpenXR is rolled out, we'll see a lot more cross-headset compatible games and stuff. Lethal Weasel, I didn't consider Windows Mixed Reality because I didn't think the library was very big. Well, it's basically just Steam VR games. What I want to know, though, those of you with the mixed reality stuff, can you get on the Oculus somehow? Can you use Revive with mixed reality? I have no idea how that works. Are you able to play Red Matter? Can you play Marvel Powers United VR if you have Windows Mixed Reality? I know you can play all the Steam stuff. I'm curious about the Oculus stuff. Let's see. Lance McWilson says, Windows Mixed Reality was my in to the game of VR. I love the portability of my HP headset. I have flown with my headset and controllers to use on a computer at my destination. Inside-out tracking is the best. Yeah, there's convenience factor there. There is absolute convenience factor when it comes to the mixed reality headsets. You could have a powerful laptop and use them with a laptop, and it is relatively portable because you don't have to set up all the tracking. That there's a factor there. Inside Out is the future, but Inside Out, we got to get to the point where Inside Out is pinpoint millimeter accurate somehow, in addition to the fact that it's got to be able to see your controllers everywhere. Like, I think Windows Mixed Reality 2.0, when they have the next wave of this reference design, they need a couple of cameras on the bottom that are covering this downward area of where the average human could move their controller, and then you could have perfect tracking for your controller with the Inside Out. You don't have to worry about lighthouses. You don't have to worry about USB cameras. It's going to be incredibly interesting to see what Oculus does with the CV2 from a tracking standpoint. Could they go to Inside Out tracking? Could they go to that with the CV2, or is that too aggressive? Maybe it depends on when it's going to arrive. If CV2 is coming in 2019, they probably can't get Inside Out in there that quickly. If CV2 is coming in 2020, maybe they will. The Jordan Complex says, I feel like it would be better to buy games on Steam in case you end up switching HMDs. Yeah, that is definitely a factor. You know, though, Oculus is going to continue to have a headset. And actually, I don't know. That is a little bit, it is a little bit dangerous. What if Facebook ever just gave up on VR? Like, what if Facebook at a certain point in time just says, F it, we're giving up on VR? I don't see that happening. But what if they did do that? Could you still play your Oculus games? How would that work? Somebody would figure out just how to hack all that shit. You know, that would happen. And so I have to imagine we'd be able to get to that in the future. Also, I do believe there's going to be a point where Facebook and Oculus give up on the exclusivity idea and just, they're going to be a store. They're a store is what they are. They're going to be Origin. They're going to be Uplay. They're going to be their own store, and you could use whatever headset you want. And you could have your Oculus account. I imagine that is coming in the future as well. But you know what? Let's see here. Let's go ahead and throw something else on the screen, because I've had that same little VR headset deal there. We don't want to look at that all day long. Let me just throw some other thing on here for a sec. I'll just throw on some Nog. Did anybody actually pick up Nog? Has anybody tried this? Very colorful. But yeah, let's see what's going on over here in chat. The Jordan Complex. I feel like it would be better to... Oh, I read that one already. Yeah, that does make sense. Ogs57 says, I find it hard going on my Vive after using Lenovo because of the screen door effect being far worse on the Vive. Yeah, you know, if you're going back and forth from headset to headset, you're going to notice more of those differences. Stereo Maximus says, yeah, I made a mistake when I first got my Rift and bought tons of stuff from their store. And now that I use my Odyssey mostly, all those games are just sitting there currently. So Steroid, there isn't a revive of some type for like Odyssey. Like you can't play Red Matter, you can't play Marvel Powers United VR. I thought there was some type of way to do that, but I haven't looked into it because I've never had a Windows Mixed Reality headset. T-Dub says, at the Jordan Complex, I done the same for that reason, but wondered if I was making a mistake when throwing 30 to 40 pounds at a title. Will Flourish says, some Oculus games work better with my Samsung from the Oculus store than with Steam. How do you get on them from the Oculus store with your Samsung? Oh, there is a beta revive for MR. Okay, so yeah, I figured there had to be some kind of revive for all these Windows Mixed Reality headsets, or more people would be crying about that. Hybrid Energy says, for me, the MR headsets were uncomfortable for my glasses, and the tracking was janky. Also, Steam games didn't always work as well as support had to be added. Yeah, some people complain about how I don't really talk about like the Windows Mixed Reality version, or how I will say, like I won't specifically say that something is available for Windows Mixed Reality when it is available for Windows Mixed Reality. And I just talk about the big three platforms, Vive, Rift, and PSVR. And it's not that I'm trying to diss all the Windows Mixed Reality platform. It's just how, you know, am I going to talk about 5 different things? I'm just going to leave it as the 3 big platforms. And I expect that all Steam games would work on Windows Mixed Reality, and I expect Oculus stuff would have some kind of revive. That's my thought, until I actually get one of these headsets myself. Should have probably bought one of those refurbished Acers when they had them for that dirt cheap price, just as a tester unit, if nothing else. Although, remember, I do have the problem, my motherboard, the CPU, so old, I'd have to use my wife's laptop and just play it in like the 60 hertz crappy mode, just to be in like, what is the... Cliff House, you know, just to see the Cliff House. That's really all I could do. Hybrid Energy says, yep, I have an Acer. Okay, so let's get into the first big news story of the day. We do have one relatively big news story of the day, and so let me go ahead and click this trailer on and let's get into it. Yeah, hashtag deal with it. Yes, we're going to talk about Adam Orth. So do you guys remember way back in the days, the internet is awesome, it killed my career, all these memes with Adam Orth? I want to be always online so people know when my career gets the red ring of death. And then, of course, Don Matrick single-handedly sinks Microsoft, and he had this famous quote, fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360. Adam Orth, of course, got fired, went over to 310, and then they developed Adrift. And Adrift started out basically as a pancake game, of course. They added some VR support later. We didn't quite get the true move your hands around VR support we really would have loved, but some people really like Adrift. Then he left that developer and he went to First Contact Entertainment. He kind of was the face of First Contact Entertainment, especially when they were at E3. They were doing all these interviews. Firewall 0 Hour is coming on August 28th, right? So later this month on the 28th, Firewall 0 Hour is going to be available, and Adam Orth was the face of this developer, and apparently he has left First Contact Entertainment. This guy is famous. He is internet famous because of that original kerfuffle. Isn't this kind of amazing? I mean, here I am, I'm doing a major story on this guy. I mean, not a major story, but I did kind of, combine these little images, a little bit of video here to talk about this Adam Orth situation. I don't think we know where he is headed. Kev Gret says, Adam leaving is no big deal. His resume shows he only stays 2 years or so at each company he works for. He was at First Contact for 1 year and 8 months. I'm actually kind of surprised that he was at First Contact Entertainment that long, because to me it only seemed like he was there for like 8 months. So he was actually there for a full year and 8 months. Seems surprising. Yeah, he was one of the co-founders, I believe, of 310. I don't know why they made one game and then disbanded. That is kind of crazy. But Adam Orth has departed First Contact Entertainment. And what I'm going to do here real quick is I want to go ahead and check out that news story. I don't think they had any information on where he was going, but let me just go ahead and check this real quick. Bouncing over to Road to VR, see if I can find it on here. Is it on here? Or maybe it was Upload VR. But yeah, what does anybody think about Adam Orth? Does anybody remember those Xbox days when he first said hashtag deal with it and that whole kerfuffle? I mean, honestly, okay, so Adam Orth, I guess he tweeted this out. I should have probably copied this and had this in the news here. So he says, some personal news. Today was my last day at First Contact Entertainment. Finishing my work on Firewall 0 Hour left me some time to reflect and realize there are some new things I want and need to explore. I'm off on a new adventure and will update more on that soonish. So yeah, kind of sounds like basically Firewall 0 Hour is done. We know the game went gold. It's basically all done. He should have stayed there at least for the launch and like some interviews and stuff right after that, because he kind of was the face of First Contact Entertainment for a minute there. But my guess is somebody offered him some other deal and he decided to bounce. And so we're just going to have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, he's internet famous because of hashtag deal with it. The whole hashtag deal with it thing, that was Adam Orth when the news broke that Xbox One was going to require an internet connection, that there was going to be no offline mode on Xbox One, and the internet went into an absolute panic. And a lot of people believe that the reason Microsoft is in second place right now behind PlayStation is actually this guy right here. I mean, well, not really. It's really Don Matrick, and it's really the entire idea that they were going to try to do that. Microsoft, way too aggressive, trying to cut that cord. I mean, trying to cut the umbilical cord of no internet. There's just too many people that don't have access to internet, or their internet isn't fast enough. It was just too early to try to make that move. Major backfire there. Not a lot of people in chat are really talking about Adam Orth, so we will go ahead and move on to the next story. All right, let's see here. It is a slow news day, so I will milk things. Okay, so I have a video. This is another video that I believe is related to SIGGRAPH 2018, which is coming up soon. This is going to be kind of a weird aspect ratio here, so I'll just kind of throw it in the middle. Let's check out the sound for a minute. Looks kind of cool. It's like a super widescreen video, and it's basically kind of trying to get people a little bit hyped up for the arrival of SIGGRAPH 2018. That is Vancouver 12th through, I believe, the 16th in Vancouver, British Columbia. These are like some different little films, I guess. So these are like VR films and stuff like that they're showing there on this trailer. So that is coming up. VR Theater, SIGGRAPH 2018. I know there is a thread on this on the Vive subreddit. I'm going to bounce over there real quick just to see if there was any other extra information before passing on this. But yeah, there's some thought that SIGGRAPH 2018 will be the debut of Magic Leap 1, that the first day of this show is when Magic Leap 1 is going to arrive, and there could be other announcements that could happen there as well. Yeah, not really any extra information on the Vive subreddit about this, but yeah, that is the trailer. Looks kind of cool. I'd love to be there. Vancouver is a beautiful location. There is no question about it. Subreddit Vive Half-Life 2 post has a dev responding that it's still cooking and being in development. Yes, I did hear about that. And you know what? The thing, I was looking at that thread, and speaking of Half-Life, yeah, I actually grabbed the trailer and had it ready just in case.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman.
Yeah, so one of the things that I saw in that thread, nobody was saying anything about anybody dying or any major health things that happened to the team there, although maybe they wouldn't mention that, but I don't know. I kind of felt like maybe there wasn't a death of anybody on the team or a major health scare, hopefully, because there was no mention of that. So I kind of feel better about that. But yeah, what is the state of Half-Life 2 VR? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and check this out real quick. The number one response is canceled. Canceled. Just kidding. I think the feature creep got them, so they want to do much more than we expect, maybe even once, so development is going slow. Okay, Worm Slayer checked in with his response, and I believe he is on the team. And he says, it's true, there are a lot of features that we haven't been able to implement yet, but they are all firmly on the after we release this current version timetable. The main problem is just finding chunks of time to sit down and do the work. Most of us are in full-time development or education, and some of us even have family and social lives to deal with on top of that. And another reply is, have you considered quitting your jobs and abandoning your family? Just kidding there. But yeah, so it doesn't sound like there's any major tragedies going on with this Half-Life 2 VR mod development team. So hopefully that's the case. That would be very good news. We are hyped for this. We do want this. We are very interested in it. Hybrid Energy says, yes, Wormslayer has been one of the people left working on it. Craig Burns is in the house. Prince Alexander. And we're back to talking about Half-Life. Yep, we are. It's technically in the news. It was on the Vive subreddit. They did report about it. This is the first time we've really heard much from anybody that was working on this in recent time. Kevgret, talking about Adam Orth, says, fun fact, Adam Orth was signed on to a record deal and released an album in 1995 on Interscope Records. That Adam Orth? That same Adam Orth? Really? Wow. So this guy is not new to fame. Chris Richardson says, am I crazy, or would Half-Life 2 VR be super annoying with all the level loads? Well, hopefully you could put it on like an SSD and not have that problem. Hopefully they would rework that somehow, right, and not have all those loads. Prince Alexander says, I played through the entire Half-Life 1 game on mobile VR a few years ago. It was actually pretty good. Interessante. Okay, so anyway, let's see here. I do have a couple of other things to go to, so let me get back into my folder here. Well, you know, there is some news. This is on the Oculus, it's on the Oculus blog, and it's Facebook Reality Labs reconstructing scenes with mirrors. So this is reconstructing scenes with mirror and glass. Now, I don't really know anything about this, But what I did do is I grabbed this video real quick, and I know that on the Oculus blog, basically I think what they're saying is they've figured out how to make like reflective surfaces look like a real reflective surface. They've figured out how to do some tricks to make that happen, and I believe that is what this video is trying to show us. As you can see there, they're holding up the camera. And so if that's in VR, yeah, that is pretty freaking amazing if that's what you see in VR right there. Or is that just the camera showing the guy showing him filming the camera and then they compose? Oh yeah, so that's the camera they're holding up. Infrared camera, RGB camera, another infrared camera, the SLAM cameras, backlight with the tag there. And so that is kind of the technology that they're using to basically recreate mirrors and reflective surfaces in VR and make them look good. Paradise Decay says, I'm still halfway through Anthony's Magic Leap live stream from last night. Yeah, we talked about Magic Leap for about an hour there. But yeah, this Facebook technology, you know, their reality creation labs, they're doing some nice things here. Looks pretty cool. We eventually have to solve all of these problems, because if you're in VR and you're looking at a mirror and it doesn't behave in the way a mirror behaves, then that instantly tells your brain that this isn't legit reality. And so it immediately breaks the illusion. So we're going to have to figure out how to do all these kinds of things. And they're working on that. You know, they are actively working on that. This is the one advantage of having an entity like Facebook being involved in this, because money is no object. They can throw a tremendous amount of money at any problem that comes up, and they can try to really grab that beachfront property and be go-to when it comes to VR. They're trying to solve all these problems. They're trying to fix all this stuff out. The good news is once they solve all of these things, you got to imagine that information will trickle down to everyone else, and then we'll have realistic mirrors in every game that we play in VR and realistic reflective surfaces. Look at that. That looks sweet right there. That is impressive. It's kind of given us a sample here of how it's doing it. I haven't listened to all this and I haven't read all of this, so I don't know what they're actually talking about here. Just saw this a few minutes prior to the show. Just wanted to grab the video real quick. But yeah, that's the device that they're using. So I guess if they have to use a device like that to film, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work for every game that they play or the experiences. But let's see what folks are talking about in chat. Charles Van Nolan says, light field capture handles reflections, specularity, implicity. So I guess it just automatically handles all of that if you're doing light field capture. But light field capture is so incredibly memory intensive. I mean, the amount of storage and all that is just ridiculous. Charles Van Nolan says, in contrast, this is a photogrammetry hack that manually detects reflective surfaces and flags them to be rendered as such. I see. So what we're looking at here is basically next level photogrammetry. So we can start doing photogrammetry. That looked really good right there. That does look really good. Look at all those mirrors, and when they're moving, that does look super sweet. So this is like next level photogrammetry right here. I'm going to get a sip of water. 1 second.
In this paper, we present a system for scanning 3D environments that contain planar reflectors, such as mirrors and glass. Traditional 3D scanning systems produce reconstruction artifacts when mirrors are present, since the 3D geometry seen in the mirror is incorrectly reconstructed behind it. Our system correctly identifies the mirror planes and their extent, allowing us to re-render the scene with the correct geometry.
Man, the audio for that trailer is terrible. Where did they get that audio from? But yeah, I think it's impressive. I think it's quite impressive for the future of photogrammetry. We know photogrammetry has a lot of possibilities for like virtual tourism in the real estate industry. photogrammetry is huge, and so if we can figure out reflective surfaces, mirrors, and all of that, and get that looking a lot better, yeah, obviously light fields are even better, but it's the storage capability of light fields. That's where 5G, again, I talk about 5G, but being able to send a tremendous amount of data with incredibly low latency, that we could have light field capture coming over 5G. So that's a possibility there. Hybrid Energy says, I feel like we're all ciphers from the Matrix, desperately trying to get plugged in because reality sucks. Yeah, I feel like virtual reality, augmented reality, this is the answer to the Fermi paradox. You know, the Fermi paradox is like, where are all the aliens? With all of these planets and all of these galaxies and just billions and trillions of planets, and a certain number of those planets are going to have liquid water. You know, there should be all these alien civilizations. The alien civilizations, they get to a certain point when they can make photoreal VR. They're like, later, we're just going to make our own reality now. So that's why they aren't visiting us. This is the answer to the Fermi paradox. Charles Van Nolan says, planar reflectors, so no curvy glass or chrome or anything like that is supported yet. There's Charles with the Debbie Downer. Terry Blanchard says, very impressive for the early stages. The Jordan Complex says, also going to keep bug you about checking... Oh, Redemption Guild. Yeah, you're going to keep bugging me about Redemption Guild. Is there a demo for it or something? How do I check it out? Paradise Decay. Talking of the Matrix, has anyone seen the latest Mandela effect with Star Trek? Paradise is down with the Mandela effect, which is cool. There are some Mandela effects I seriously believe in. My number one Mandela is Fruit of the Loom, the logo for Fruit of the Loom. What the hell happened there? Something is weird. CERN, I don't know. Somebody did something. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch up to a new trailer. Let's see here. You know what? Somebody was mentioning... Let me go back to the subreddits real quick. What I'll do is I did a little brief trailer that just has some of these pictures here, and it shows their RGB camera and stuff. I copied these pictures as well. It's kind of showing how these reflective surfaces will work. And while I'm showing that, I am going to go ahead and bounce over to the Vive subreddit and see what other stories were up pretty high up here. Okay, I'm going to bounce to the Oculus subreddit. And let's see here. Well, you know, there was some subreddit that was talking about... somebody on the subreddit was talking about Furious Seas. And so I grabbed the Furious Seas trailer because I thought, oh yeah, this is on some subreddit. So let's check this out. We can talk about it real quick.
The Crimson Bandits. My ship, my money, even my dead father's ring. I'm gonna hunt them down, one by one.
There's the bastard that attacked my crew.
We have had about enough.
Enough!
This nonsense stops now.
It stops!
They don't know, but I'm hunting them down.
Fire them bloody candy!
Shiny!
Can I help you, sis?
This winter's getting under my skin!
This floating cabaret act is getting smaller by the day.
They will hunt you down. Think about what you're doing.
But we'll see who collects whose bounty.
No chance!
It's time for the sisters to take you down.
Captain Ruin. Oh crap. Go after me, treasure. You're gonna find out exactly what that gets ye. Furious Seas.
Yeah, so I don't know which subreddit it was, but there was a little story about Furious Seas. I've never tried this game. This one kind of snuck under the radar for me. I believe it's $20. It is available on Steam. Not sure how long it's been available for. It is colorful. Prince Alexander says that's Black Flag in VR. Alien VR explains the Fermi paradox. It really does. I'm telling you. Aliens, once they got photoreal VR with with flawless tracking, you would create your own worlds. Why would you go anywhere? Seriously. I just saw, actually, speaking of that, I just saw Ready Player One the other day on Blu-ray. You know, it's on Redbox, like it's on Blu-ray. And one of my sons saw Ready Player One in the movie theater. The other one never saw it. And so my wife and my younger son, they got to see Ready Player One for the first time. And so we rented the Blu-ray. And yeah, I mean, once we have an oasis where you really can like feel sensations and it's that photo real, like, is anybody going to care about visiting space? I mean, I don't know that many people will care. Like, you're just going to have better realities, infinite numbers of realities that could be anything in VR. So it's almost like the real reality is kind of lame. Oh, Paradise Decay, but have you seen Ready Player One in 3D? No, I haven't yet. You probably got to get a special 3D Blu-ray, right? Which I know you can't get it on Redbox. That's the best experience of the film. I would like to try that. My opinion of Ready Player One, now having seen it again and seen it on Blu-ray, is I really like the movie up until a certain point. And then at a certain point, my interest level in the movie like falls off a cliff. But the beginning of the movie, I thought it was really good. I think basically ultimately this idea that there's like these loyalty centers and like they're trying to rebel against this corporation, like, I think it could have been done better. I just think the whole thing could have been done better as far as that. I don't know if the book, maybe in the book it seemed a lot better. Maybe those loyalty centers were better explained in the book. But the movie was good up until a certain point, and then I kind of lose interest after that. Like, I didn't even finish watching it. That's how crazy it was with that. The Jordan Complex, sorry for late reply. I'm listening to this while I give Uber rides. Oh, that's sweet. Jordan is working for his money. He's doing Uber rides, and he's tuning in to the live stream. That is awesome. Redemption's Guild doesn't have a demo, but there is gameplay on the Unlit Games YouTube channel. Craig Burns says, who has a DVD player these days? I do. I have a Blu-ray player, and it does support 3D, I'm pretty sure. But really what I would want to do is I'd want to watch it on my PlayStation VR, because I've heard a lot of people say that if you watch a 3D Blu-ray, if you somehow rip it and you get it working on your PlayStation VR, supposedly it looks freaking awesome. And then the Oculus Go is supposedly even better. Paradise Decay talked about that. Kev Gret says all consoles support 3D playback. Yeah, I could throw it into a PS4 or an Xbox One as well and be able to do that. VR Mania Q, I don't use CD DVD for 6 or 7 years. Yeah, nobody does. I was one of the first people, though, to ever get a DVD player. I had a DVD player in 1999. Oh, no, wait. No, like 1997, I think. 1997, I got a DVD player. I was like the first person in Sacramento. Okay, let's get it off this Furious Seas trailer. And let's see, did I have anything else to throw on? Well, there's Virtual Battlegrounds. I have heard a little bit of a talk about Virtual Battlegrounds. Now, this trailer is like a 360-degree trailer. And I've never... Oh, this does not work. Look at this. A 360-degree trailer. Okay, so this does not work. But you know what? Hey, it's a learning experience. This does not work. Look at that. That is funny. Okay, I'm going to just find some other random trailer to throw on then. Yeah, I ran out of news so quick. I can't believe I ran out of all my little news stories so fast. Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. So, you know what I'll throw on is my Magic Leap montage that I used last night. This is for everybody that missed my show last night. Little Magic Leap love. I'll have that on for a second while I check some news stories. Okay, so in chat, Paradise Decay, yeah, he's talking about the 3D version. Kev Gret says the 3D Blu-ray is okay. It's not reference material like Marvel's releases, but it's still worth seeing in 3D. That's interesting. So Kev Gret is saying the Marvel movies are even better in 3D. The Jordan Complex says PS4 equals DVD player. Doesn't PS4 plays Blu-rays too, doesn't it? It just doesn't, I don't know if it does 3D. I think it does 3D Blu-rays, right? It's the PS3 that's the DVD player. No, wait, PS3 did Blu-rays too, didn't it? Now I'm all mixed up. Chris Gold, Furious Seas could be wonderful if the potential is realized. Devs are super friendly. They have a community roadmap that no one is contributing to. Story Maximus says, how do people feel about the state of VR games software right now? Well, you know how I feel, Story Maximus? We got a lot of games. This is Christmas in July. We just got Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, which I should probably throw a trailer of that on and actually talk about it a little bit, because I played some more of Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. I actually played this last night. I got past the part that I was stuck at. I had only played basically 20 minutes of the game. I got past that section. I've actually tried some combat, and the combat, one of the things I'm wondering about the combat, my question is, can you block? Can I just block a sword attack? Is there a way to block? I couldn't figure out how to just block a sword attack. I was just hitting the attack button, slashing, trying to kill the bad guys. Yeah, I did take a few steps back. The Jordan Complex. Yeah, so I get into the game. Can't believe I just didn't think about this. Maybe because you're sitting in a chair, you're playing with a controller. I never considered the fact that I could just get up, move my chair back like 3 feet, sit down, and then play the game, and then I'm further behind the character. So yeah, I got into a perfect position. It's awesome because physically you just move back in room scale. You can get a perfect distance behind her. You can control how much over the top of her head you want to be, and you can determine how much to the left or right of her you want to be. So you can dial it in absolutely perfect when you factor in the room scale. Can't believe I didn't think about that. Paradise Decay is saying, Anthony, yes, you hold down the top left trigger to block. Okay, I thought I tried hitting that, but it did not work. Noah _A_S says the price from yesterday was fake on Magic Leap. Yeah, if you heard me in that live stream, I said I believe it's fake. Like, my prediction for Magic Leap was $1,999.99. My prediction is $2,000. That is my prediction, and that fake receipt said $2,500. I thought it was fake, but I still wanted to put it on there just so we could kind of have a pricing discussion. But yeah, it's definitely fake. No question about that. Let's see. Stephen McDougall says, go back and play it on tabletop mode like playing another game. Yeah, Stephen, the first day I tried, it's called experimental mode, and experimental mode with this game really is. It really is like playing a completely different game. It's you have that little character right there. You see the puddles, you see the grass. It is like super awesome. I really like that mode. I do need to retry that mode, Steven, especially now that I know that I can back up a little bit. I definitely need to retry that mode. So combat, I'm glad there's a block. I'm going to have to do that next time. Left bumper, right? Or is it left trigger? It's top left trigger. So top left bumper, I'm guessing you're saying? The top left bumper? I thought I pressed nearly every single button trying to block those sword slashes, and I didn't think I could block any sword slash, so that did bother me. But if I can nicely block a sword slash and then do my counters and all of that, then that improves the sword play considerably. Noah is talking about Magic Leap still, and he's saying... let's see, where was he here? He's saying maybe it is actually, and we just don't know the picture was fake though. Yeah, talking about the price. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Magic Leap could cost anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. I don't think they'll come any higher than $2,500, but I still think that picture looked totally fake because it would be more than that with shipping and tax. I mean, it's not going to be $2,500 exactly. But going back to Hellblade, Chris Gould says, combat is more complex than I realized. Someone put a GameFAQs link on Reddit. Interesting. Paradise Decay is talking about playing Electronauts. Very good. Yeah, Electronauts is surprisingly good. Paradise Decay says, in Hellblade, you can parry attacks as well. Yeah, I think I kind of figured out how to do that. I was fighting a little bit better there. Dr. Freeman says, Hellblade is amazing. Noah says the game looks cool. Noah, are you trying any VR at all? Have you tried any VR? Because VR and AR, you should be playing some VR as well. Because I'll tell you what, you put this game Hellblade in the experimental mode where it looks like a tabletop. There are a lot of VR games, Noah, where I feel like I'm looking at little holograms right in front of me. And the only difference between that and Magic Leap is that I would be able to see my couch and my dog. But if you don't care about not seeing your couch and your dog, it's like you're looking at holograms like right in front of you, and it's marvelous. You'll look at it. I'm telling you, Blaze Rush, when those little cars are driving around and they crash and little things start flying off of the cars, it's right in front of your face. It's magical. It's like a hologram. And same thing when you play Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, you try the experimental mode. I encourage everyone out there, try the experimental mode, if only for 5 minutes, just for the novelty of it. I think it is super cool. It looks like a cartoon, a Pixar cartoon or something that is unraveling right in front of your face, like the puddles and the grass and all of that. Oh my God, looks super awesome. I'm definitely going to try that mode again. But one thing I did want to say about this Hellblade game is, oh my God, there is some amazing demo material in this game. Okay, so once you get past that first door where I was stuck, and I could not believe that I did not see the shadow there that solved that. That was so easy. The first time I got back in there and I was walking towards that area, I saw the shadow. And I was like, oh, there it is. The symbol's right there. How the hell did I not see that? What an idiot. But when you first get past those open doors, you get a little bit farther, there is this cinema where she's out in front of you, and then she turns around and she walks over to you, and she's like inches away from your face. She's like inches away from you in VR, and that shit looks amazing. I wish there was a way that I could put my headset on somebody else and just show them that like 2 or 3 minute cinema where she walks over and gets up in your face, because it is super powerful. I can see why people are blown away by this game, because there's times where she is laying on the ground like that. She's crawling on the ground, and from your perspective, she is a physical human being that is occupying space and taking up space, and she's crawling on the ground right in front of you. That's why so many people out there, they say these third-person VR games, they don't give them the time of day. I know plenty of people that will never play Chronos. They'll never play Lucky's Tale. They'll never play Bound. They'll never play Edge of Nowhere, because they see that the game is third person and they're like, oh, it's third person. Why would I bother with that? Well, you should bother with it, because you know what? If you can get far enough behind your character, it looks like there's a human being that is occupying space, standing in front of you, animating. And of course, this is Ninja Theory, so they are like next level facial animations. Their facial animations are second to none. These guys kind of started this whole thing off with Heavenly Sword on PlayStation 3. Ninja Theory is no joke. Their facial animation systems, their facial capture is no joke. And when you see that human right in front of you, it's freaking impressive. It is terribly impressive. Noah is saying, I just want to try it so badly. So he hasn't tried VR. Noah, get yourself an Oculus Rift and try some of this stuff. Or grab yourself one of those Windows mixed reality headsets, as cheap as they are, just to kind of test it out. Let's see. Chris Gould says, third person works so well. I mean, yeah, it works well. I'm not saying that it's better than regular VR where you are the star of the show. You're in the game. The world is surrounding you. I love that. I love having my hands in VR and having that agency where I am VR. I'm in VR. I love that. But third person is still very good. And this is a perfect example of this. Paradise Decay says Chronos and Edge of Nowhere are two of the best VR experiences out there. Paradise, have you ever tried Bound? Because Bound is up there. I really feel like that. Noah says Apple just hit the $1 trillion market cap just now. Yeah, we don't talk about Apple too much on this program because they are a sleeping giant, though. You know, Apple is not going to let all these other companies come into their game and try to take their pie. Apple will defend the throne at a certain point, so I know Apple is going to have some incredible AR stuff in the very near future. Dr. Freeman says, imagine a game like Diablo 2 where you see it in tabletop mode and you can loot new armor and weapons. That would be nuts. Yeah, a lot of these games where they put it, it's like on a table, and if it's situated just, you know, inches from your face and you're seeing these little things run around, that tabletop mode, it is awesome. It is truly awesome. You could do that with Kin. Anybody that has an Oculus Rift, Kin is an exclusive game. That's another game where you can kind of get close to it and then you're seeing these things running around. It is very cool. That is what I think they should do with John Madden Football and NBA Live 2K and FIFA. Yeah, FIFA as well. If you're going to bring those games to VR, tabletop style, little guys running around, and it's like you're this like omnipresent god the size of like Godzilla that is sitting next to the court or the field or the pitch, and you're looking at the little characters run around. That's the way they should do it. That's the way to do soccer, for serious soccer, rather than trying to put you in the game like VRFC. But Madden, NBA 2K, all of that, I really think that should happen. Chris Gould says Hellblade just would not make sense first person. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't designed for that, so it definitely wouldn't make sense. Noah says I should really grab an Oculus Go. You really should. A lot of people swear by an Oculus Go, and it's a great thing to have if you go on trips often. You know, if you're on an airplane flight, I would not be too embarrassed to pull out an Oculus Go. I think that would be super cool. Stephen McDougall says FIFA would be well cool in tabletop mode. Unfortunately, Electronic Arts seems to be allergic to everything VR. So FIFA, Madden, will we ever get those in VR? When will Electronic Arts? That's a whole topic in and of itself. When will Electronic Arts come do something VR? They haven't even touched it. They're kind of like Microsoft. I guess Electronic Arts is saying, look, until you make a compelling reason for us to make a VR game, we're just going to avoid investing in it, is pretty much what Electronic Arts has done. Tabletop VR sounds like it could work very well. Brass Tactics kind of proves it already. Yeah, Brass Tactics is a great example of how you could play any kind of games like that. Yeah, it's funny we got onto this whole tabletop mode here. But yeah, Hellblade, I'm impressed. I'm definitely going to keep playing the game. There is a lot of walking and talking and story. I'm still wondering if this combat will really do it for me. This might be more of just like a story type thing. But man, some of the cinemas, like there when she was scratching her arm and all of that was taking place in front of you, and she was rolling around on the ground. This scene right here, I remember seeing this scene in VR, and I feel like I was there because it happened like right in front of my face. It was really quite cool. Time Lock VR is 40% off at Indie Gala. Is it worthwhile? That's Chris Richardson reporting in. I've never played Time Lock VR. Paradise Decay says EA are too busy chasing the Fortnite train. Yeah, and they're chasing it to be sure, and they're never going to catch it. See, Epix, you know, they dabbled in VR a little bit. Chris Cox says Land Rush is an Oculus exclusive that is like a top-down shooter. Man, I got to remember to look up all this stuff that everybody mentions on here. Oh, Paradise is asking, have you tried Catan? So yeah, we're talking about a lot of tabletop stuff. Stereo Maximus says, Anthony, I agree. The visuals and story are great, but the gameplay almost feels tacked on to me. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, just not as compelling as the rest of the game, oddly enough. Yeah, I kind of feel like it's almost more of this like a VR movie, really. It's kind of like you're watching a really intense VR movie with occasional sword slashing every now and then, is kind of what it seems like to me, which that's not a terrible thing. But, you know, if you're expecting a lot of action, might be a bit lacking in that category. Although, call me Mr. Iceberg, you know, I barely scratched the surface of all of this. Hybrid Energy says, you do a boss fight in Hellblade. Oh, have I done a boss fight yet? I don't think so. I don't think I've gotten to a boss fight yet. Or wait, you fight Raven? I think that's where I died, and I might have stopped after that, or maybe I just got past that. I'm not sure. I think I did just get to a boss fight. And so that might be the boss fight that I'm on, and I think either I died at that boss fight and then I ended up turning it off and I'll go back to it later. I'm not sure. Or maybe I barely got past that boss. Don't know. Stephen McDougal says, I think I will rob a bank tonight in Payday 2 VR. I think he talked about that the other day. He mentioned that in chat as well. Payday 2, Payday 2 VR, I deleted it off of my hard drive because it was like 45 gigs, and I don't know why. Never got into Payday. Just never got into it. You know what is slightly surprising to me? Not a lot of people are talking about Pixel Ripped 1989. So is Pixel Ripped 1989, is it a bit of a disappointment? Is anybody out there really disappointed with it? I want to go back to it. I want to continue playing this because the last time I played Pixel Ripped, I got to that point where it's kind of hologramish and you're playing that side scroller and it's going across a huge area and you're seeing your character jump up and you're seeing the enemies and they're kind of retro style. Super freaking cool. I mean, absolutely cool. I experienced that and I was loving it. Paradise, are you playing Pixel Ripped on your Oculus Rift? And the reason I ask you this is because, oh my God, dude, the production values, because I started playing Pixel Ripped on PSVR, and it's very good in PSVR, but there's something about playing it on the Rift where I don't know what it is, but it seems like every little sound effect and seeing your gear kid and seeing it up close, everything is just so damn clear and so damn sharp. The visuals, I think, are a lot better than PSVR for some reason. I was really blown away by that. And I really feel like the production values are really good. And when I'm talking about production values, I'm talking about little sound effects, little things that happen, not like a I'm not saying it's a AAA game. Like some people kind of misconstrued what I'm saying about production values. It's just everything just works. It doesn't have that indie jank that you would expect. And there's my EGM right there on the table. Hybrid Energy says, no, Pixel Ripped is awesome, but it was short. 3 levels plus to final areas. Okay, so Hybrid, you've already ran through the whole game. But those Game Boy sections where you're playing the Game Boy game, doesn't that take a little while? Stephen McDougal says, no, I love it, Anth. So yeah, so I guess people are still playing Pixel Ripped. That's good. Alexander Ritter says, how long is the game Pixel Ripped? It's short. It is short, according to Hybrid Energy. But it's a $20 game. It's a $20 game. Kev Gret says, main complaint of Pixel Ripped is the difficulty, especially the last boss. Chris Richardson says, for $3, I'll give it a shot. Pixel Ripped isn't $3. Don't know if you're talking about that. You'll have to wait a minute to get it for $3. Paradise Decay says, it looks really well detailed on the Oculus. Yeah, I was really struck by how clear, how crisp, how clean it was on the Oculus. Hybrid Energy says, yep, 1.5 hours. I guess he was really good at the Game Boy sections. He must have been very good because it took me a while. I feel like you are playing a legit Game Boy game for brief sections of time there. And if you're crappy at those games, it's going to take you a little while. I got through it, but I was, because each time I played Pixel Ripped, I only played like 15 minutes and I kind of was restarting sections and stuff. So yeah, I mean, maybe I could run through the whole thing in 2 hours. I might be able to. I'll have to, if that's the case, then I'll be able to get through it. $20, yeah, if it really only takes 2 hours, $20. Let me ask you, Hybrid Energy. So if you got through this game in basically under 2 hours, Did you see all the different areas of the game where the game leaks out into your world like it did in that very first level? How cool is it? Or do they not do that enough? Oh, Chris Richardson is talking about Time Lock VR. That is if he does the humble indie bundle, he can get it for basically $3. Let's see. Paradise Decay says, at Hybrid Energy, but did you collect all the secrets, etc., or did you just run through there super fast? Yeah, some people like to just, boom, just go straight through a game, never look at anything, never smell a flower. Bam, they run through a game and then they say the game was only 45 minutes. And then somebody like me, I like to stop and smell the flowers and it takes me 3 hours. Like Red Matter, a lot of people feel Red Matter is a very short game, but I spent a lot of time with Red Matter because I go through games slow. I look at everything. Paradise Decay says the Game Kid looks so realistic. I felt like I was holding it in real life. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Paradise. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When you hold that Gear VR close to your face, like really look at it when you're playing it on the Oculus Rift, that rendering engine is similar to First Contact. It is that clean. It is that crisp. It does look like you're holding a Gear Kid inches away from your face in real life. It's actually really freaking cool. Alexander Ritter says, I had a Game Boy when I was young, played it a lot, so maybe it is very short for me. Yeah, if you're really good at that, you'll probably be able to run through these levels real quick. The other question I would have for Hybrid is, you know that little part in the trailer where it shows the game running on a television, like an old school television, and you're playing like a console version of it? Do you get to play that? How long does that last? Because that's all the stuff I want to try. Hybrid Energy is saying there is a few varying areas. One area even puts you in an old school arcade. I saw what I saw, but I haven't looked online what I missed. It's got replay value. Okay, so I still feel pretty damn good about Pixel Rip 1989. I mean, obviously, I need to get my way through the entire game. I do want to do that. Maybe today I can get throw some time at it today. But yeah, because I want to see all of that. $20. I still think if anybody out there bought Duck Season for $20, and if you felt like Duck Season was well worth the $20, I think you're going to feel that this is well worth the $20, because I think this actually has more juice to it than Duck Season. I mean, they're completely different games, and Duck Season kind of goes down the horror road a little bit, but I feel like the price is pretty fair. Paradise, I heard that you tried Electronauts as well, and you were enjoying that. I do like Electronauts. That is coming out in a handful of days. That's going to be $20. Megaton Rainfall. Somebody was talking about Megaton Rainfall. Let me see. Let me see if I can find a trailer for Megaton. Because, yeah, Megaton Rainfall is coming in a matter of days as well. I think Electronauts does come out a little bit before Megaton. Electronauts is, I believe, on the 7th. Megaton is on the 9th. Electronauts is not as cool as I thought it was, because basically you're taking other people's songs and you're remixing them. Basically what Electronauts will do is it'll allow you to be like a really cool DJ with some pre-existing songs, which is cool. That is cool. But Megaton Rainfall is pretty freaking badass. I played this on PSVR. I understand this game is short as well, but I really like the War of the Worlds vibe to it. And I love the freaking alien destruction machines. These, talking about the Fermi paradox. Here's a case where the aliens weren't in VR. They decided to come to Earth, and well, I don't know that this is Earth, but they decided to wreck shop. I mean, they got these special alien vehicles with a big giant wrecking ball that is just jacking up these skyscrapers like you wouldn't believe. And then the other thing that you don't see in this trailer is there are a lot of little citizens that are running around. They're scrambling around. They're yelling and screaming. And I really felt like I felt guilt when I was letting these humans die because I wasn't being as good as I could be in terms of battling these humans. It's kind of like you're Superman. You're basically Superman, and you are defending planet Earth from this alien invasion, and I really liked it. awesome game, I think. Megaton Rainfall, it is coming on the 9th. Let's see what people are saying over here in chat. Hybrid Energy, I believe he is talking about Pixel Ripped 1989. He's saying, I say it's worth 20 and I beat it that fast. It may have been a fast 2-hour playthrough, but it was an epic 2 hours. Now I wait for Megaton Rainfall with motion controls. Absolutely. Alexander Ritter says, I check Steam and there is a board game weekend this weekend. Has anyone played Ascension VR? I played the real board game. Is it nice? Don't know. Have not tried that. Paradise Decay says, Anthony, I have told the devs that if they allowed you to add your own samples, sounds to those cubes, you can make an original track from scratch. Yeah, well, you would have to... might as well throw on a trailer of Electronauts while we're talking about it. Hold on one second. Let me grab a trailer of Electronauts. I had fun with Electronauts. And, you know, for the $20 price, I think it's cool. It's just, I was thinking it was even cooler. You know, it's like, I thought it was cool. I thought it was even cooler. But yeah, I think to try to make your own tracks from scratch, you would have to basically build some background beats that then you would add all these sound effects on top of that. So it would require them to make an entirely different deal. It would have to be way more involved. Now, it's something that I think they can do, but basically what this kind of is it's kind of allowing you to be a really cool-ass DJ. And even if you have very limited skills of being a DJ, you can make something that sounds like you're really doing some special stuff. And they give you a whole bunch of songs, $20. Paradise liked it. So, you know, I think it's pretty cool. I don't know that I personally would pick it up for 20, me personally. But it wasn't too bad. I mean, you could literally take Electronauts and hook it up to some huge ass speakers, and you could DJ a party with this game. You really could, based on what I was doing, because I felt like I was in a party, like doing all the little mix tracks and doing all the little cool things that you could do with it. It was pretty sweet. Chris Gould says, going to give Electronauts a miss. If you cannot make your own music, I will stick with EXA, the Infinite Instrument. Chris Gould says, electro, whatever. Yeah. It's more of a DJing thing than making your own music. Still pretty cool. I think it might be the type of thing that I would grab on sale, possibly. I mean, it's not bad for 20 bones, though. They really need to have some kind of demo. Servios would be well served to have some kind of short demo that lets you screw around with one track to kind of give you an idea, because I think they'll actually sell a lot of copies of this game if people could demo it. So there is that. Okay, so I'm going to take one last check of the news channels and see what is going on in the news world. So I'm going to just throw on some random trailer here. I'll throw on the old school Vive trailer. Let's kick it old school. This is the really old school Vive trailer. Argentina VR is checking in. Hello, friends. What is up, Argentina? The show is wrapping up. I'll tell you the truth. The show is wrapping up. I am going to check all three subreddits real quick, Upload VR and Road to VR, right before I bounce out of here, just to see, do we have any late breaking news? And Unite Berlin 2018 Magic Leap, bringing pixels to the world. I did see this. There is a super long Magic Leap video on YouTube. I mean, I don't know that it's all Magic Leap, but it's a talk that was at Unite Berlin 2018. There might be some information to squeeze out of here. End Space has an update. Supposedly they fixed a lot of bugs. I do need to check that out. And I've heard that they really redid the PSVR version, which is, I have that version. I have the PSVR version of In Space, so I should go check that out now that they've updated it. Not much else going on in the Oculus Rift, in the HTC Vive subreddit. Let me check Oculus. See, they're talking about the research reflections, Facebook Reality Labs. We talked about that earlier today, how they can recreate mirrors and reflective surfaces in photogrammetry. That stuff does look super cool. I think that will make photogrammetry look really nice. They're talking about the July Steam hardware survey. We also covered that much earlier in the show. Talking about dissecting a cat in VR that is terrifyingly cute because it is this really cute cartoon cat. That looks kind of cool. I don't think I'd want to dissect a cat in VR though, because I have a cat and I don't want to think about opening up my cat. Okay, let's go to the PSVR subreddit. PSVR subreddit, you know, they're talking Firewall 0 Hour, that VR immersion video that we saw a little bit yesterday. They're talking about the In Space update. Yes, I should check that out. That is Orange Bridge Studios, I believe, is the developer of In Space. They have updated it. I definitely should check that out again. I need to add the patch. They're saying that Blasters of the Universe is on sale. It is super fun and it is highly replayable on PSVR. So let's go ahead and bounce over to Road to VR real quick, because I know they had a story about the PlayStation VR sale. So I might as well go ahead and comment on that. So Road to VR, yeah, PlayStation August sale offers big discounts on top PSVR titles, and PS Plus members can get up to 60% off. So this is where it pays to be a PlayStation Plus member, because you can get some really good deals sometimes when they do this here. So I'm taking a look at their prices. I'm trying to see what really jumps out to me as incredibly priced. Static is only $8 if you're PlayStation Plus. That is definitely an awesome deal. Static for $8. You can't beat that. I say grab Static for $8. Highly recommended. Let's see. The Dirt Rally bundle plus PlayStation VR bundle, you can get it for $10 on PlayStation Plus. Of course, Dirt Rally, if you got PC VR, you get Dirt Rally for like $5 through that humble bundle, so it's better to go that way. Blasters of the Universe, $7.50. Arizona Sunshine is $16 if you have PlayStation Plus. That's the lowest I've ever seen Arizona Sunshine. So if you have a PSVR, if you don't have a Vive or a Rift, you've never played Arizona Sunshine, that is the move. That is if you have Plus, you get it for $16. That is a hell of a deal. That is the lead story right there. Along Together, which is a very recent release, is $10. Normally $20, sell price $15, $10 if you have Plus. A very recent release. So once again, if you have PlayStation Plus, there are some good deals to be had. Let's see, nothing much else going on here on Road to VR. So that was pretty much it. I'll take another bounce over to Upload VR, double check real quick. Yeah, Upload VR, their lead story, they're talking about how Facebook built a camera system to capture mirrors. That's their lead story. They're talking about massive new in-space update. Upgrades across all platforms. I need to remind myself to check that out later today if possible. I could talk about that tomorrow, because I had a few issues with In-Space originally. I'd throw on an In-Space trailer if I had it, but I probably don't have one on my hard drive right now. But I had some minor issues with In-Space. The two problems I had with it was you had this announcer guy that was giving you instructions, and his volume was way the hell too loud. The other problem I had was his voice was kind of garbled. So you would turn him, if you could turn him down, that would be fine, but his voice is kind of garbled. So it was too loud and it was garbled. That bothered me. The other thing that bothered me about In-Space is there was something about locking onto your enemies that didn't quite feel right. So I am very curious to try this updated version on PlayStation VR and see, does it play a hell of a lot better? What did they do with that announcer, etc., etc. So I'll definitely try that. Okay, let me take a last look at chat, and then we're going to bounce out of here. Phil Yarn just gotta say, Hellblade stole the show. Yes, I will continue to bang away at Hellblade. I want to see more of the combat. Alexander Ritter says static is really cool. Static is crazy cool. Static is one thing that PC VR gamers should be jealous of. Static was done incredibly well. I believe Tarsier Studios, I think, is the studio responsible for that. Let's see. Steroid Maximus is saying, anybody play VR Dungeon Night? I actually think that's a better game and what VR needs more of, roguelike dungeon crawlers. I've heard a lot about VR Dungeon Night. I've never played it myself. Steroid Maximus, sorry, a better game than Vanishing Realms. Whoa. He's saying VR Dungeon Night is better than Vanishing Realms. Sounds like I need to try VR Dungeon Night if that's truly the deal. Argentina VR, can you advise me a software similar to LIV in order to record with mixed reality? You might want to ask Paradise Decay about that. Paradise, if you can answer Argentina VR. I haven't really done any of the mixed reality stuff. I've thought about it, haven't really done it. I thought maybe, I should try to get into a little bit of Let's Play stuff. Now that I've kind of figured out how I'm doing this live stream of OBS, if I can start figuring out the Oculus, how to get Oculus in here, gameplay, get a camera on me and have it look halfway decent, I might try to screw around with that, but I have not tried any of the mixed reality stuff, which would be super cool for something like Beat Saber and all of that. So Argentina VR, unfortunately, do not have an answer for that. Jason Walker says, are you guys going to put out a VR roundtable soon? Yeah. Show notes, ladies and gentlemen, this Sunday, August 5th, I am going to be recording a VR roundtable episode. There is a chance that that episode might be a live episode. We haven't come to a final decision whether that episode is going to be live or not. And I can tell you that this show is going to be delayed either way. Whether we're doing a live episode or not, this show is going to be delayed. But if VR Roundtable, if we do a live show this Sunday, probably would be 9 a.m. Pacific live if we do it, which is still up in the air. If we do that, what I'm going to do is our episode of Daily Vlog Live this Sunday, it will be the after show. And so it's the after party. The after party is what I'm going to call it. And so every time if we do live VR roundtables, then I'm going to have an after party on my stream, which will start 20 minutes later. It'll give me a chance to get some water, maybe grab a bite to eat, and then bam, we do the after party 20 minutes after the VR roundtable live stream. So look forward to that if we do a live show this Sunday. If we're not doing a live show, I probably would, I guess this show would probably start like noon or something. I'll have to figure that out. Haven't decided yet, so stay tuned for that. Paradise Decay says, I have never done any MR. I don't have the room. Sorry at Argentina VR. Do you really need a lot of room to do MR? I guess so. I have a lot of room, but I would have to like put green shit everywhere and then get different. I've tried to do some green screen stuff. Never worked out right. Always looked absolutely horrible. Don't know if I could get my green screen looking like that, if I had that set up right there with that kind of lighting, oh my God, I'd be doing mixed reality every single day. I don't have that, so I don't know what to do. Jason Walker says, I think pulling chat questions on a live roundtable would be good. Yeah, it would be awesome, although we have 4 people on VR roundtable. Myself, Chris, Steve, and Gary. There's all 4 of us. And then if we have chat, we're adding in chat as well. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be different. If we do that, still to be seen. As soon as I know, as soon as I get word that we're doing a live show, I will definitely talk about it. Hopefully I'll know by tomorrow, hopefully, and then I can tell you guys about it tomorrow. Monday and Tuesday next week, we are going to have a showtime of 2:30 p.m. Apologies. Monday and Tuesday next week, 2:30 p.m. I have appointments Monday morning and Tuesday morning will not be able to do this show at this normal time. So show notes as well. Monday and Tuesday, we are going to be delayed. I would love to have this show every single day, 11 a.m., but unfortunately, there's always something that pops up. But we'll keep banging away at it. But anyway, folks, that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode of the Daily Vlog Live, episode 166. I should probably throw on my little outro trailer on my way out of here. That's going to go ahead and do it, everybody. I will see everybody tomorrow, Friday, August 3rd at 11 a.m. See you on Friday. Take it easy. Later.